Oh. I gotta get straight for you guys. I gotta get straight. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. I'm sorry, y'all. If y'all hear me sniffing a lot, I'm just now getting over a cold. Okay. So I'm here. Um, I just want to get this ready for you guys. Let's get this ready. How are you guys doing? Happy Friday. I know my hair look like a mess, but y'all, I just came from the gym. I had to go ahead. I had to just pin it up and call it a day. Oh, all right. So we are going to jump right into it because I do have orders to do. So I do apologize if I'm moving a little too fast. If so, just let me know. Because for some, they may not know I am a business owner. I do have my own products that I have to make and I ship out Saturdays. So I have to get to some immediately after Bible study. So it's going to be a long night for me, but I'm going to get it done. Okay. I'm going to get it done. All right. So we're going to talk about the 15 key instructions on how to treat one another. We're going to talk about that. And we're going to talk about the three ways that Christians are to love. And then we're going to dibble and dabble into testing your faith. Because some people say, they are Christians and they believe in this and believe in that. But little they know God tests us. And I'm going to tell you the 5 ways that he tests us. And then we're going to talk about Peter. And that's coming from Matthew chapter 14, verse 22 to 33. So we're going to dibble and dabble into that because I know everybody should know the story when, Peter walked on water. You know that story? Well, we're going to get deeper and deeper into what that really means, because I think growing up as, when we grew up as kids, we just go to church because our parents was going to church. We really too much didn't care for it. Or if we did care for it, it got tiring like once the sermon started. And I know that was me, like I was getting tired. So as an adult, I went back and I reread everything that I was taught in Bible school when I was a kid. I'm like, oh, this makes sense. So for some people who did not go back, we're going to break it down for you guys, okay? So we're going to jump right into it, to the 15 key instructions on how to treat one another. So the first one that we're going to talk about is love one another. Of course, we know that's just simple as it is. Loving one another. That's what we have to do. Just love one another. I know it's hard sometimes, and I'm sorry I'm sniffing. And I know I look a little drowsy, y'all, but oh my goodness, I'm going to get there. We know that it is as simple as just loving one another. So we already know, plain and simple, what that means. Be of the same mind, like mind. So not saying you have to have the same mindset as your neighbor, but be understanding. Be to the point to where you're not judging them or your opinion is more, I would say, more important than their opinion. No, we got to have the same like mind because we don't all walk in each other's shoes. So we have to take the time out to sit there and be of the same mind, be of the same like mind. Number 3, do not judge one another. So, and I know that's hard for some people because I know a lot of people be like, well, I'm not really judging. I'm just, making an assumption. Well, if you really be honest about it, an assumption, I'm not saying it's judging, but you're assuming off of your own thoughts. Your thoughts are not factual. So if you be honest, it's kind of judging a little bit. But do not judge one another. Okay. Let's see here. Warn another. A lot of people, especially I can say as far as like my family, when it comes to being the chosen one and being anointed, I warn a lot of people. If I hear something, if God tells me something, I'm like, okay. He'll let me know if they need to know, and he lets me know if it's something that they need to figure out on their own. And me just being me, sometimes in the past, I used to not listen. Like I used to be like, nah, I'm gonna tell them because I want to warn them so bad. Like I want them to know so bad. Like, girl, don't do that. Or boy, don't you do that. Don't do that. God don't want you to do that. And so in the midst of that, it comes off as knowing all, like some people like, oh, she thinks she know it all and she did all that. But I really just want to warn. So really warning your brothers and sisters. And that don't have to be just from God telling you, literally just warning you, your own testimony. You could have gone through something. You're like, listen, I've been through this. Don't do this, try a different route. God loves that. When we teach one another and talk about certain things that we've all gone through. Because in this generation, a lot of people feel like they're better than one another. And it's like, we all go through the same thing. We've all been broke. We've all been hungry. We've all not had a car. We've all not had our own place. We've all had to where we had to extend the light bill, the water bill, the cable bill. Let's be real. We've all been in that situation. So I feel like once a person gets to a certain level in life, they kind of down others and act like they've never been through it. And God does not like that. So, we have to be there for one another and have an understanding. Serve one another. That does not mean like submit as far as like you would do with your husband, but just serve one another to where, okay, my sister or my brother's in pain. Let me serve him. Like, okay, can I help you with the dishes? Can I clean the household? If they recently came from the hospital and they can't move the way they used to move, is there something that I can help you with? Do you need me to run errands for you? Do you need me to go to the grocery store for you? Like, be there for them. Bear with one another in love, which is basically what I've been saying. Be kind to one another. We have to do that. We have to submit to one another in fear of God. So submit as far as, okay, being both as a group being scared of God together. Because you could have one person, one friend who really don't fear God and one friend who do. And that's really, lines are going to get crossed because that means he don't care about what he do. He don't have conviction. He don't have discernment. He just don't care. And the other one cares. They have conviction in their heart. They are being obedient. They are listening. They are doing tithing and everything they need to do. And this person's not. So it's going to cause a riffle. So, he wants us to submit together, be fair, being fair of him together. And forgive one another. That's a big one as well. We have to let the past be the past, move forward. Now, not saying that once you forgive a person, you have to let that person back in your life. You don't have to. You can forgive and move forward. That's okay too. God is not going to punish you for wanting better or, a better person in your life, because everybody that may be in your life right now may not be in your life for the next season. People are here for seasons. People are here, to be here for certain situations, a learning experience. You just never know. So just because that person's your life at this moment, you feel like, okay, I have to deal with them, or I have to, it's been years, it's been 10 years. And that don't mean anything. That does not mean anything. Just forgive. And if you feel the need to move forward, you can move forward. If you feel the need to rekindle and still be friends, then you do that too. Comfort one another. So if someone is crying in pain, heartbreak, sad, whatever the case may be, to where they are just in agony, comfort, be supportive, love one another, extend. Be kind, because you don't know who you're talking to. You don't know what that person's been going through. That person probably tried to commit suicide. And by you just saying hi made their day. Like, you just never know. So it's always good to just comfort one another and be kind to one another. Exhort one another daily. And basically that means to encourage one another. Constantly, if you see somebody, like for me with my business, I'm constantly, growing and growing. I love the support. Hey, keep doing what you're doing. I see you, you're moving. People love that. That keeps them going. That keeps them wanting to do more and to do better. So always encourage one another, because you just never know, by you putting that spark in somebody, that'll make them go from A to B. Let's see. Do not speak evil of one another. So like gossiping in negative ways. Gossiping is just a sin, period. But I'm just using like really, really negative, somebody did something wrong, or somebody robbed the store, and you're speaking evil on them. Like, they're going to jail and they doing this and doing that or whatever. And it could just be, a mistake. They probably just did something that one time. And, the judge is going to go ahead and give them on house arrest, or, give them the chance to do community service. I don't know. But by us speaking on things, we have it has nothing to do with us, and we're constantly speaking evil, that's putting it out there in the atmosphere. Okay, well, yeah, he's going to jail. You don't even know the situation. This is what you heard from this person, from that person, So, and excuse me, once again, it's just constantly coming. Let's see. Do not go against one another. Do not grumble against one another. And grumble is like complain. So don't complain. Don't constantly like make a person feel bad or complain that they're not doing this and doing that, and you don't know what that person has going on. Like, let's say, oh well, Shanika used to always show up at the Bible study. She ain't showing up at the Bible study. What's going on with Shanika? And then, girl, Shanika, you don't know what's going on. You don't know. So don't complain about somebody. And if they're, not doing what they used to do, or just complain about them in general, things that they have never done. You just never know what a person have going on. Confess your trespasses to one another, definitely, and pray for one another. Always pray for one another. Pray for your enemies, pray for your neighbors, pray for your sister and brothers, pray for everybody. I pray for you guys every single night. I pray for everyone every single night. So those are the 15 key instructions on how to treat one another. Okay? Always, always love one another. Be kind, be the same mind, do not judge, serve one another, submit to God in fear. Forgive one another, confess your trespasses, pray for one another, do not speak evil, do not go against one another, and bear with one another. Okay? And let's see here, and warn one another. So those are the 15 ways. And to be honest, I found these were between James, Romans, Ephesians, Galatians, like just picked here and there from each passage, and it was just basically how to treat one another. So I just put them all together. And it's just 15 instructions on how to treat one another. So then we're going to get off that, and we're going to go to the 3 ways to love. The Christians are to love. Okay. I did not know this. But it's understandable. So the first way, unconditionally, that means you have to love your neighbors no matter what. Unconditionally, that means no matter what the situation is, you have to love them no matter what. And God calls his sons and daughters to love people as they are and to pray that he would do a work in their lives. So you know how you pray for your neighbors, or you just pray for people in general. Just pray that God helps them. Don't pray down on them, or don't wish bad on them. Just pray that God helps them. God elevates them. God, wants them to be a better person. Do that. And that's just, loving them unconditionally. Even, they may, and me and my dad had this conversation. What if a person, automatically just randomly spit on you? What are you going to do? Yes, your first reaction as a human being is probably to, like, whoa, to square up. But, when that spirit dwells in you, like, completely get inside of you, your first thought is not to harm your brother or sister. Your first thought is either to pray, to wish good on them, like God bless you, or just really to love on them, like, hey son, are you all right? Like, why are you going around spitting on people? You okay? Let me pray for you. Bend down. And it'll be things like that, like unconditionally, just love one another. And I know it's hard because I'm even like, when my dad was talking about it, I was like, somebody spit on me. But then I thought about it. Nah, because I had people do worse. I have never been spit on, but I've had people do other things, and I still love them after that. So I'm telling you, unconditionally, personally, you got to love them personally. So the only Christ most people will ever see is the Christ, and it's the Christ that they see in us. So some people may never see Christ, right? But if Christ is within you, that's the closest they may get to it. And if you're doing it, I mean, personally, you're loving your neighbor. Or Christians are, you're loving your neighbor personally. The third way would be sacrificially. We should not we should not tell others of God's love here and there, but show them that God loves through our demonstration of love. So basically, instead of saying, okay, well, God, done A, B, C, D, and F, and G for me, better yet, show them. So act on it. Actions. Let me help you with this. Do you need help with that? Let me extend this, or let me come there with you with that. Let's do this together. Let's learn about, like, instead of just talking about all that God's done, show through your love. Show your neighbor that you have Christ living within you. And he loves that as well. So because you're going to sacrifice, and that's why I said sacrificial. Like, you're going to sacrifice your time, you're going to sacrifice your day just by letting that person know. So those are the 3 ways to love: unconditionally, personally, and sacrificially. And then now, and I know if I'm moving too fast, y'all let me know. Okay. And if there's something out of the 15 key instructions on how to treat one another, let me know. And then if you want a more understanding of how the 3 ways that Christians are to love, let me know before I move to the next one. We're good? Okay. Now, this is 1 John chapter 4 and 5. Read about love. This is going to talk about the birthmarks of a believer. So now we're going to get more into faith. So we're going to get off of loving one another, and now we're moving in more to faith. Okay, so, oh, excuse me, y'all. I am so tired. I'll go ahead here. Okay. Bear with me for one more moment. Okay, here we go. Okay, so the birthmarks of a believer. So, I'm going to read a passage, but I'm gonna come back to this, so I don't want it to be a little confusing. But John, because we're reading from First John's, okay, chapter 4-5. I'm not going to read the chapter 4-5, but I'm reading the 5 tests that he had gone through. And then once I read the passage from Matthew, you'll get what I'm saying. Okay, so John presents 5 tests that will help to determine if a person is really a Christian. These tests are given as birthmarks to ensure that true believers of their salvation. The first test is a faith test. A faith test. Okay, what do we believe? And do we believe the word of God? So I'm just going to say here, I've been definitely, that's one, and it's not, I wouldn't even say, no, I wouldn't even say a faith test, but that was one that I had a trouble with, I would say, because it was to the point one time to where I wanted something so bad. I'm like, God, you said you was going to give it to me. God, you said that, I deserve this, or I should get this, and things like that. And I'm like, I'm doing everything that you asked and I'm not getting it. So then I would get aggravated. Like, I'm doing all of this and I'm not getting blessed from it, or I'm not reaping and I'm not getting anything. I'm not, everyone else who don't do what you ask them to do, they're getting blessed here and there. And then me, I'm just sitting here having still to figure out this, that, and that. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, God, like, I'm so upset. And it was a test and I failed. And he did it again. And I failed. And he did it again and I failed. And I'm noticing like little things would happen. Little small things in life would happen. So I wouldn't say mine was a faith test. It's actually the life test, which is number 2. But I would be like, oh my gosh, God, like, why is this happening to me? And I wouldn't lose faith in him. It's just the situation would make me mad. I'm like, I don't want to do this no more. I don't want to be this person no more. Like, why do I have to go through this? And God is like, well, why not? I've been through it. What makes you think you don't have to go through it? So I learned it though. I learned. So the first one is a faith test. Second one is a life test. Then that's what I was being taught with. Life test, how do we live? Do we keep God commandments? And then the third one is a love test. Do we love our brothers and sisters? The fourth one is a growth test. Are we overcoming more and more as we walk with the Lord? And the fifth one is a sin test. I think we all have trouble with this one. Do we avoid sin, or do we continue sinning and consider it acceptable? Listen, y'all, that one right there. I know a lot of people. I'm gonna be real. I feel like they negotiate with a sin. Like, if in the Bible it literally says A or B, that's what it says. It literally says A or B. Why are you negotiating with it? It's either you're doing this and it's a sin, or you're not doing it. Period. And I've had a lot of people like, especially like sex and gossiping. Well, how's it a sin if I'm telling my neighbor about something? Well, did your neighbor ask to hear about what you're telling them, or did you took it upon yourself to call the person and tell? Oh, you did? Okay, that's why. Or better yet, when it comes to sex, well, I'm celibate, but I'm not having sexual relations. I'm just doing oral. It's sex. Huh? And it's before marriage. Now, I'm not saying after marriage, of course, but I'm saying before marriage. Well, it's not sinning if I'm doing it, I'm not, doing any penetration. I'm just oral. It's still sex. And I feel like people try to negotiate with the word. I'm like, you can't do that. You cannot do that. Okay. So the 5 tests that we all will be tested: faith test, life test, love test, growth test, and sin test. So, so I'm just going to ask you guys just to get some feedback. We could keep it moving before we get into John. Which one of these 5 have you been having a problem with? Like, have you ever, well, I know you had to, because if you're a Christian, you definitely been tested. You can't say you haven't. But which one of these 5 have you been having an issue with? Or have you ever had an issue with these simple 5? And you should, because those are the main ones that he will test you with. And that's faith test. That's life test, things in life, period. That's love test, loving your brothers and sisters, not loving, your girlfriend or your wife. No, loving other people outside of your immediate family. Growth test. Are you overcoming more and more with the walk of God? Are you constantly walking to him? Are you doing better by him? How have your growth changed? And then sin test. Do you avoid sin, or do you continue sinning and consider it acceptable? Like, okay, it's just one sin, but God forgive me 70 times 7, so it's okay. No, it don't work that way. So which out of these 5 have you a problem with? And just leave in the comments and just let me know. But I would say definitely mine would be a life test. Mine was a life test, and I kept failing over and over. And he was like, okay, well, I'm going to do another one at you because you're going to pass this test. And I passed it. Listen, something happened recently. I said, well, okay. I gave it to him. I was like, okay. And just gave it to him. I was like, I'm done. And so I passed that one. But as a Christian, we're going to be tested. We're going to have trial tribulations. We're going to go through a lot anyway. So it's nothing new. That's just what is going to happen. If God been through it, you're going to go through it. You're no different from him. And you're not better than him. All these things are habits that you have to work on breaking when you're trying to walk with God. Yes, of course. Yeah. But which ones have you been having problems with lately, recently, a month ago, 2 months ago, yesterday? Was there anything that you were, that comes and goes that for sure that God tested you on? Like, for sure that it was God. And I know mine's, it would be not the love test, because I love my brothers and sisters. Like, I love strangers. It's crazy. I don't know why. I'm not saying it's crazy, but I don't have a problem with like talking to other people. Like, I tell you, I can talk to a person all day. I can talk to anybody. As long as I can feel that, as long as I can feel that you're warm and you're welcoming, you're down to earth, we can have a real conversation. I can talk to anybody. I just can't. The ones that are stuck up and just, people call me bougie. I'm not bougie. I can talk. We can have great conversations, and I don't judge, none of that. But the ones who feel like they're better than other people, I don't want to talk to you. I'll just pray for you, but I don't want to talk to you. Let's see. I've had a problem with sin tests. It was one test that I kept failing over and over. And over and over and over, until one day I said, you know what, I'm gonna cast this spirit up out of me. So I went ahead and I cast it out of me, and I said, God, I rebuke this spirit, and I cast it back to the pits of hell in your name. And I have not had problems with it since at all, because I meant it. I was like, this sin won't have me. My flesh will not consume me. Your flesh is your enemy. You fight your flesh daily. Daily you fight your flesh, because the flesh is good. Like temptation, oh yeah, a lot of people, temptation is like touch, grab, do things with gossiping, lying, sexting, drinking, smoking, all that stuff. That's the flesh. That's not your spirit. That's the flesh that dwells in things like that. So once you really fight it and you get a good KO, a good knockout, and you rebuke it off you mentally and spiritually, it's a wrap. Now, I'm not saying you're not perfect. I mean, no one's perfect. There's gonna be times where it try to come through the back door, because that's what happens. The devil, he try to come through the back door. So it'll try to come through the back door, and you're just like, hold on, let me zip and zap. You can't do that. Well, I haven't done it in a long time. No, just a little. No, can't do it. You cannot do it. And when you think about 10 seconds of pleasure, whatever the case may be, I don't know. I'm not saying sex, but whatever it could be, 10 seconds of pleasure, an hour, 30 minutes. Once that pleasure is gone, it's like, okay, and what? Now what? It really don't matter. Okay. All right. So we're going to move forward. All right. So let's see. So now we're going to go into Matthew chapter 4, verse 22 to 33. So I definitely want to talk about this. This is testing our faith. This one really moves me so much, because I'm just like, oh my gosh, I love God so much. And we've all gone through this to where we don't focus on him. It's like, this is the road, and everything that's outside of my hand, is just the world. And it's hard. Sometimes you just be like this, and you just got to stay focused. Excuse me. And it's okay. It's all right. But we're going to get into this chapter, and we're going to talk about it. I'm not going to read all of it. I'm just going to skim and scan, like I normally do. And it's 8:26. So we're going to have an early dismissal, I would say. Because y'all, listen, it was a great weekend. It went by so fast. Lord, I thank you. Lord, it was a great time. I mean, like, Monday came, then it's like when Monday came, it was Wednesday to me. I'm like, yes, Lord, I'm ready for the weekend, because I'm ready to sleep. Like, I just be so tired. So we're going to read, and I'm going to give you guys some time. Matthew chapter 14, verse 22 to 33. And this is about Jesus walks on the sea. This is dealing with Peter, if you guys remember that story. And for some who hasn't, basically, Peter took a chance on faith, got out that boat, walk on water. He experienced walking on water. Yeah, it's amazing. But as soon as he looked down, as soon as he lost his focus on God, he started to sink. So I'm just going to give you guys one more minute. Matthew chapter 14, verse 22 through 33. And this is just really about faith. Testing your faith. How deep is your faith? Really, when you're back up against the wall, how deep is your faith? Because we can say it all day when everything seems pleasant and everything seems fine. When everything's going great, we can say how we want to say, oh yeah, it's okay, we're doing, yeah. But when your back is really up against the wall, you'll know. Okay, so I'm gonna get started. Okay, so Jesus walks on water, verse 22. Immediately Jesus made his disciples get into the boat and go before him to the other side, while he sent them away. And when he had sent them away, he went up on the mountain by himself to pray. Now, when evening came, he was alone there, but the boat was now in the middle of the sea, tossed by the waves, for the wind was, moving the boat back and forth. So now in the fourth watch of the night, Jesus went to them, walking on the sea. So at night, Jesus was walking on the sea. Okay. And so when the disciples saw him walking on the sea, they were troubled, saying, it's a ghost, it's a ghost. And they cried out of fear, because they know, like, what? This man is walking on the sea. This can't be real. So they cried out in fear. But immediately Jesus spoke to them and said, be of good cheer. It is I. Do not be afraid. And Peter answered him and said, Lord, if it is you, command me to come to you on the water. Now, hold on now. Now, let's just break this down. In this generation, if you happen to see somebody walk on water and you like, no, if they real, then he can make me walk on water. So that's what Peter did. So Peter's like, okay, Lord, if this is you, command me to come to you on the water. So he said, come. So God said, come on. So when Peter had came down out of the boat, he walked on the water to go to Jesus. So now he's walking, getting to Jesus. But when he saw that the wind was like the winds were going crazy, the winds were just moving and it's just acting up, he was afraid. And he beginning to sink. He cried out, saying, Lord, save me. So he was looking at Jesus, he was walking, he was doing good. Soon as he saw the winds, it's like, whoa, because the focus was here. He was focused. And as soon as he saw the winds, he immediately, whoa, I'm walking on water. Oh, look. So he got scared. Immediately he started saying, immediately, right? And so Jesus stretched out his hand. He stretched out his hand and said, and actually he stretched out his hand and he caught him. And he said to him, oh, you little faith, why do you doubt? And when they got into the boat, the wind ceased. Excuse me. And then those who were in the boat came and worshiped him, saying, truly, you are the Son of God. Sorry, y'all. So I'm going to stop right here. That was just a little snippet. So Peter saw God walking. Saw Jesus walking. He said, if you are who you are, command me to come to you. Jesus said, come. He come out the boat. And that's when he started walking to Jesus. But as soon as he lost focus, just that quickly, he just lost focus. He immediately sinned the saint. But see, God caught him. And God is always there with you. He ain't going to let you fall. He's not going to let you fall. He immediately caught him and said, why do you have little faith? Why? And so as soon as that happened, that's when the disciples saw that. It was like, okay, well, we're going to worship him. He is the Lord. He is who he said he is. So we going to get it and twist it until this generation, because that's what I do. I'm going to go ahead and do that. So Peter's faith decreased when he saw the winds. He lost heart and he began to sink. We tend to do the same when we are put to the test. We look at the situation and not God. Keep focus on God. So, for example, have you ever been to a situation to where you're going through something? God is saying, focus on me. You're focusing on him, but life knocks you off. Like life gets you to not focus, or something happens and you lose focus. That's exactly what happened with Peter. I'm sorry, y'all. I don't know why people are texting me. They know that I'm having Bible study. Don't get it. So, have you guys ever been through that situation? Have anyone ever been through that situation to where God is saying, focus on me? And the worldly distractions, friends, people, coworkers, just random people just automatically get you off focus, and then immediately you start to sink. But God does not, he don't let you fall now. He'll pick you back up. Matter of fact, he don't let you fall to where you fall. If you're falling, he just pick you up before you even hit the ground. And then he's like, okay, why do you have little faith? Because if you're saying that you're a Christian, why do you even have little faith that whatever it is that you're wanting to happen in life, it's not going to happen? So, for example, I'm going to go back to one of my testimonies. A car. I wanted this car for so long. I had my Kia Rio, and y'all should know this story by now because it's the same testimony I give y'all. I had my Kia Rio, and for 8 years, I've been trying to get another car for so long. And God said, focus on me. Focus on me. And I'm like, God, And so I'm seeing everybody else get a car. My mother, my sisters, my child's father had got a car. My best friend had got a car. Her mother had got a car. My daddy got a car. Like, matter of fact, my other sister got a new car. Man, she had 2 cars. And within the same week. And I'm just like, well, God, what about me? I'm like, God, what about me? And he's like, focus. And I'm like, but see, the worldly distractions. I was so distracted at looking at everybody else getting something, and God is saying, nah, I'm not ready for you to get one just yet. I'm not ready for you to get one just yet. Not just yet. And so I went to CarMax the first day, and I didn't get the car. I did not get the car. And then, man, I went home. Listen, I called my best friend. I was livid. I said, Emily, I'm tired of this. I'm having a whole tantrum. I'm just pissed. I'm like, I'm tired of this. This happens to me all the time. And I'm just crying, and I'm telling God. Now, here's the thing, because I did what Peter did. Peter said, if you are the Lord, command me to come to you? God said, well, come. I told God, I said, if I'm chosen and if I'm anointed, then I'm going to get my car tomorrow. Y'all, I kid you not. I went there the next day and I got my car. But I lost faith because the whole time I was like, okay, I'm obviously not getting this car because everybody, I can't be doing nothing right. But the whole time he was telling me just focus. It wasn't meant for me to get the car at that time. And there's other reasons that I can just throw out there. I had a baby. I had got a new place. I had got a new job. It was so much that was happening. He was like, and when I look back at it, I'm like, yo, if I had got a car at that time, man, I would have been broke. Like, because I would have had a whole new car payment. And he was like, no, you sit right there and you don't pay a car payment. I haven't paid a car payment. I paid that car off 2 years before time. I haven't paid a car payment in, I think, 2 or 3 years with that Kia Rio. And I'm rushing for a new car. See, because God knew if my child had got that car at that time. And I knew, because I'm thinking the time I was in, I wouldn't be able to afford a new car. A car payment. There's no way I would be able to afford a car payment. I couldn't do it. Now I can. Now I can afford a car payment. So, God, listen, it's about faith. And even not just that, we could twist it just a little bit to where the difference between fear and faith is focus. I just feel like it hit me. The difference between fear and faith is focus. If you focus, you don't have to be in fear. Because when Peter saw that it was wind and he actually saw that he was walking on water, immediately he started to sink. And God, if he would have just looked straight at God, just keep walking to God. God. Now, I'm not saying this because sometimes you never know what you'll do in the situation, but I'm telling you that if I see God and God is saying to come to me, I ain't looking at nobody. I'm going, I don't care if I got the bum rush, even an infant. I'm going, I'm telling you, to God, I'm going straight to him. I ain't looking at nobody. And I think I'd be so in awe, just to see him. But Peter, he saw him and he took his focus off of him. And immediately he just sunk. And by that, God is saying, why leave little faith? If you got faith in me, you should know I'm not going to let you fall. I'm not going to let you sink. So that's when Jesus caught him. God is not going to let you fall. He's not. And if you focus, yes, what you want to happen may not happen right away. But don't you know that God wants the best for us? So just because it didn't happen right away doesn't mean that it's not going to happen. And it doesn't mean that what you want is... It's so much more to it because he could be protecting you from things. He could be giving you something bigger and better. You just never know. You never know. So that's where patience come in. But faith, God, he loves when we have faith. He loves that because it makes him happy. Okay, my child got faith in me. My child loves me. My child is putting it in me. They're allowing me to direct their lives. They're allowing me to do it, which he wants us to do. You should do that anyway, because he knows what's best for you. We think we know, because right now it looks so good. Oh yeah. Matter of fact, I'm going to use it to this generation because, I got to break it down. Oh girl, yeah, he's so fine. Yeah, he's tall. Oh, he got some big hands, big feet. Oh, he's so cute. But that man could be the devil. That man could be the devil. And, he could be an abuser, manipulator. He could be a rapist, a serial killer. But you're going off of appearance, worldly things, right? But a Christian woman, yeah, he cute, he dibble dabble. But within probably 2 sentences, speaking to him, I already know, yeah, he ain't it. So you can't really go off of by what you see. Worldly things, man, it's a distraction. When you can have, and then that girl looking so hard at this man, when it's a man right here in front of her that's willing to give her everything that she wants, but she's so focused on this right here. I'm telling you, that's how he works. Focus on me. Focus. That he just wants you to focus on him. And if you focus on him and do what you're supposed to do as a Christian, give it over to him. Everything you want. And I'm telling you, everything your heart desires. If you do his will, he'll give it to you. And then, so Peter experienced the joy of walking on water by taking a chance on faith. So by just taking a chance on faith, he experienced walking on water. You see, the disciples, they were scared. Why? Peter was the only one that actually said, okay, well, Jesus, that's you, because he tested him. But Jesus, that's you, then I'm gonna walk on water. Let me tell you how good that is. It's not a bad thing to do that. I'm gonna tell you now because I did it. I did it with the car. And God didn't say, oh, I punish her for test. No. That's not bad to do. But by him doing that, he was able to walk on water, and he was able to know, like, in the midst of that, like, God got my back. Like, I immediately lost focus on him, and then I was about to sink. I was about to drown, but God, he pulled me up. Like, God caught him quick. It was like, why little faith? Why? You was just walking on water. Why? How did you just immediately just lost faith like that? Like, if God tells you to start a business and everything's going good, right? Then something happened. You like, nah, I shouldn't start this, man. I don't know if I should do this. Man, nobody calling me or nothing. And keep going. If God said to start it, keep going. That's your focus. Keep going. God is, whoever needs to get what they need to get from you and do what they need to do or be involved in that business, God is going to already have them in the part of it. Whoever don't need to be, then they won't need to be. It's not meant for them to be. So you got to focus on him. And I'm telling you, if you focus on him, everything, it'll just fall. The chips will fall. Okay. And then we're going to talk about something else. Sorry. Okay. The disciples who stayed on the boat, where they thought they were safe, they failed. See, then they actually failed the test. Now think about this. Remember, we just talked about the 5 tests. They actually failed the test because they thought, by being on a boat, they're safe. But Peter didn't fail the test. Peter got experience to walk on water, and he experienced the hand of Jesus reaching out to him in his time of need. He lost faith when he looked down, but at least he was willing to step out of the boat. At least he was willing to step out on faith. So the ones that are not stepping out on faith, they're losing. They're losing. They ain't getting nowhere. They're stagnant. And y'all know me, I can't be stagnant. I can't do it. Y'all shouldn't do it. No one should want to be stagnant. Within whatever, there should be something different that you did from last year to this year. Something. If not, come on. We got do something different. Do something different. Don't stay how you are. You should want to grow every single year. Something should be moving, and something should be, different in any type of way. That could be physically, mentally, emotionally, financially, any type of way to where you should want to grow. And by Peter doing that, he had faith. Like, he stepped out on faith. Because first of all, he tested Jesus. That's a step out of it as it is. Because I'm gonna tell you something. When I said that, when my friend heard me, she said, Shadi, what you say? I said, well, if I'm chosen, if I'm anointed, then I'm gonna get in my car tomorrow. I was scared a little bit just by saying it, but I said, well, hold on. Why can't we test him? He tests us. So why can't we test? And I'm not saying, well, God, no, not like that. But as far as I need to know who I am. Tell me who I am. Because sometimes you may not know who you are. You can just ask me, he'll tell you. And he definitely told me that day. Because I went back the next day and I had got my car. I probably was in there. I know I was in there the day before, like hours. But I went the next day. I asked my child's father, can he watch the girls? I would say maybe, but not even, maybe 2-3 hours? Because I had to sign paperwork and everything. And I got the car. With ease. With ease. And like I tell you, man, I don't even know how. How is it the first day you told me no? I came in the second day, you said yes. That's how I know there's a God. I don't care what nobody say. I know there's a God. And my best friend can tell you that. They told me no the first day. I came at the second day. They said yes. What changed? I'm the same person. What changed? Oh, I know why. Because God said, yeah, you're going to get that car. So have you ever been in a situation to where you stepped out on faith, you lost focus, but God still called you? Or have you ever been in a situation to where you did not step out on faith and you wish you could have? Or you wish you had, the strength like Peter did to do it? Because to be honest, the disciples are the ones who failed. They're the ones who didn't step out on faith. They could have walked on water too. They could have experienced the hand of Jesus too, but because they didn't do it, they didn't get to experience it. Just imagine touching Jesus' hand. Oh my gosh, I would faint with happiness. Like, because I love him. I love him. Oh my gosh, I love him. Like, I never thought I love a man so much. I love that man. I love him so much. If I was to, I'm telling you, I would fall in love with him all over again if I was to touch his hand. Because that's the only man that's been there for me. That's the only man outside of my daddy. But that man, listen here, I'm telling you. So have you ever been in a situation to where that happened? And then what happened? So I gave you guys the testimony with the car. And then the faith one. Well, not faith one, I'm sorry. Another one I would say was, I would say going back to when I was in college. I was working as a teacher. And I remember one lady said, you know, when you work in a NACCE accredited daycare, that's like one of the top best daycares. So I heard a lady say, well, you know, in order for you to work at a NACCE accredited daycare, you got to be a certain age. I said, that's a lie. I said, I can do it. No, you can't. No, you can't. Bet. So I said, God, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna show her because she don't know who I am. And so I said, okay. I studied while everyone is taking 4 classes in college. I was doing 6 classes. So mind you, I didn't have time to play around. I got 2 degrees. I graduated in 5 years with 2 degrees. So that should tell you I wasn't playing. I was not playing. And I immediately was like, okay, no, I got to get this. Now I didn't have no kids, so I wouldn't work no kids and none of that. But I said, I gotta do it for me because I want to be a teacher. I want to own my own daycare. And I said, God, I gotta show her that I can do this. So what they do, how they test you, just like anytime you want to be something, or you know, you a professor, a pastor, a preacher, they're going to test you first to see what you would do. So she tested me and she said, okay, well, little Downey came in and he got Down syndrome. How would you teach him? How would you, you know, go about your everyday life with a Down syndrome child that's in your classroom? Me just being me, I'm gonna still love that child. I don't care. So I showed it to her immediately. You know, I had a whole day. I had to teach my class. She watched me from the time I clocked in to the time I clocked out. That woman said I had flying colors. Now, mind you, she's just said there's no one I was the youngest one. I was the youngest teacher. I was the youngest one. And she told me that, oh no, you can't be working in an AC accredited because you gotta go through years. I said, well, who you talking? Who? No, God didn't tell me that. No, God said I can get my degree now and I can work in an AC accredited now. And that's what I did. And I got my degree. And she was in shock. She was in shock. So I say that to say this. I took a chance on faith. Was I a little like scared when she said it? A little bit, because I'm like, oh, she's been here for 30 years, so she knows what she's talking about. But then again, when you have that spirit of God in you, and when you know who you are and where you stand and where you stand in Christ, I knew I would know. I didn't know how I am now. Like now I'm out there. Like I can read you in a second. Or I'm really good with it. Like I've learned to get where I'm at today. But at that time, I knew who I was, but I wasn't as strong in my spirituality at that time. And I was like, okay, I'm going to do it. And I did. I was a little scared, but I said, no, I'm going to do it. So I stepped out on faith, and God held my hand the whole time. And when I say shoot, y'all, just imagine a person's with you the whole day, watching you do everything. Like she had a pad. And she was like, making these faces, but yet saying good things. Like, why would you do that? She had me, oh my gosh, I had so much anxiety. And she was just sitting there, okay. And like the kids loved me. Oh my gosh, they loved me. And I remember I was asked, why are you not a teacher? Well, I'm not a teacher because that's not what God in store for me. God actually did not want me to be a teacher. He wanted me to be a business owner because I asked for financial stability. Being a teacher, I don't have financial stability. So can I go teach? Of course, but no. And then also he knew that I don't have the patience now. I have 2 girls. I've been through a lot with the 2 girls. I've been a lot with my child's father. I ain't got the patience for no kids. I love kids, but I don't want anymore. And I only would deal with what I have in front of me. If you make one, deuces. If you want one, deuces. I don't have the patience. I just don't. I love them. I do. I love kids, but y'all, no. Okay. And then the ones who wants to grow and elevate and take a chance on faith are the ones who are succeeding. So yes, you may lose faith here and there, but focus. The Lord will look forward, and you keep working, and you will seek Him and accomplish the test. So of course, here and there, you're gonna lose faith. That's normal. That's going to happen with my business. Sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, I just, because I hand make these. It's a lot. I have orders to do tonight. And I'm like, I am so tired. I'm a mom. I go to the gym. I work. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. It's just a lot, right? But at the end of the day, I asked for it. So when I get the little ding on my notification, like I get happy, like, yeah, I might have made this order. But then in the midst of like, I gotta find time. So you're gonna go through the situation, the times where I don't have a lot of orders. I have like little ones, like people who come in and get like one thing. I'm like, girl, get some more. Like, what are you doing? But I'm grateful because they're loyal customers. So it's okay. You're gonna lose faith, but it's all right. As long as you continue to look forward. You look backward, you ain't getting nowhere. I told y'all, and I'm sorry, y'all. I don't know why people are still texting me. And they know I do Bible study. And these are the people I've been talking about. These are the people that claim they're supportive and all this stuff, but you should be watching. Why are you texting me? See, I ain't got time. And the ones like the disciples will continue to fail because they are not stepping out of faith. So the ones who stayed in the boat, when they saw Jesus walking, they did not think to say what Peter said. Because of number one, they didn't want to test him and they didn't want to work out on faith. Peter did. By him doing that, he got to experience Jesus and got experience like, okay, God loves me. They don't get to experience nothing. They saw it, but they didn't experience it personally at all. Excuse me. So the disciples will continue to fail. The people that are not wanting to step out on faith, they will continue not to say fail in life, but they're not going to fail. They're not going to succeed as far as what they're wanting to do. Everybody has a passion. Everybody has been blessed with a gift that they will do that would help them financially and that will help them in their everyday life. But it's up to you to figure out what it is. No one can tell you what your gift is. You should know what your gift is. I'll say that again. I'm saying that for a reason. You should know what your gift is. And when you know what your gift is, you use it to every potential. Every potential that you can. You got to keep posting. You got to keep going. You got to keep doing the reels or doing whatever you got to do. Whoever don't like it, whatever, it wasn't meant for them. Keep doing it because it's going to get somebody's attention one day. And that's what I had to tell myself. When I first started, it was nice, but then it went down. Now I got the constant loyals keep coming back. So, I just want my testimony to help somebody out there who wants to do something in life. And that doesn't mean just starting a business. That could be anything. Just want to do anything in life. You can do it. Don't let nobody tell you nothing otherwise. Like, no, you can't do it. You can't. No, don't worry about that. You're going to have some people that's going to play with you too. Like, yeah, I'm going to get something. Never get it. Oh, yeah, I'm going to put that order in. Never do it. And it's okay. But you see me though. As long as but you see me though. Okay. And then, okay, so we're going to just talk about what was the time you stepped out on faith and what was it for and what happened. I think I asked you guys that. And then have there been a time that you lost sight of Jesus and lost your faith? Has there been a time that you lost sight of Jesus and you lost your faith? Like what took place? Sorry, y'all. I have to drink something because my mouth, I'm dehydrated. And all I've been having is fruits and vegetables. Y'all, Monday is my last day. I did 21 days of fruits and vegetables. Y'all don't understand. Monday is going down. Chicken wings, meat, everything. I can't have how I want to have, but I'm going to eat it in moderation. But I'm going to thank God while I'm eating it. You understand me? Oh, Lord. I got to take my pills. But I'm just waiting for you guys to, tell me what time. When was the time? What was it about? What happened to where you lost faith? And mine was the car situation where I lost faith. Was there something that you did, something that you want to do? Anything? While I take these pills. And I also want to let you guys know, because I know there's been a person asking me about the link to my product. The link to my site is actually under this, you guys. So it's chosenbychardonnay.bigcartel.com. I'm gonna put it in here as well because I sell lip gloss, body care, skin care, hair care. As you can see, I'm natural. Just FYI, if you're like, why is it so girly? I'm natural. I've been natural for years. And I decided to put it up for a little bit. I recently just dyed my hair, but I decided to put it up because it's a lot. It's too much. I was gonna cut it again, but I promised my child's father, and I promised my friend, and I promised I wasn't gonna cut it again. So I said, okay. Chosen by Chardonnay. BigCartel.com. All right, you guys. So you guys don't want to talk to me? Y'all don't want to tell me the time? No? At all? A time where you guys lost sight? No? Or you could just tell me, what are the 5 things that you've been tested on? Remember the faith test, life test, love test, growth test, sin test? Now, we've all been tested on the sin test. Now, we've all been tested on that to where we kept doing that same sin. And God was like, now, hold on now, my child. You're not getting this. Let me go ahead and throw that test at you again for you to get it. Life test, love test, growth test, sin test. Are you having any issues with that? The 15 key instructions on how to treat one another. Are you going through a situation right now to where you're having an issue with loving your neighbor or want to do right by your neighbor, or your neighbor want to do right by you? I don't know why. I don't know. Don't worry about it. This is getting wrapped up anyway because I'm going to the gym tomorrow to do Zumba. So this is going to sweat out anyway. I don't know. It's be looking like a bush sometimes. The skin is glistening. Do you guys see this? Okay, so I guess everyone's good. Okay, so I'm just going to go back, re-ramp, and then I'm going to let you guys go because I do have orders to do. And I do have to eat. And I know you guys, it's Friday night. Man, y'all, listen, I had a good week. How was y'all week? Was y'all week good? I feel great. How do you guys feel? And once again, because I know a lot of people come back and see it, I want to thank all of you guys for just even supporting me. Because like, excuse me, it'll be a couple people watching. And then I come back and it's like 12, 13 views. I'm like, oh my gosh, what? So I thank you guys for watching. I thank you guys for supporting me. I pray for you guys every night, not because you watch me, but I pray for my brothers and sisters, period, every night. And being chosen to be an anointed, being a Christian is not easy. Knowing so many things and just wanting to push it out there to the world is either they're going to like you or they're not. And I know that's why I questioned God when he said, do this. I said, God, are you sure? Because a lot of people don't like me. And I think I have a great personality, but a lot of people don't like me just because of who I am. And I'm like, I don't think people are going to watch this. But he's like, yeah, okay. And I was really shocked. Like the last Friday, I think I now have 14 views. And I'm just like, oh my goodness. So I appreciate y'all. And it's crazy. I go back and I see people like, because when I watch it, I'll leave it on one thing and I go back into something different. So I know somebody done watched it. But, I just want y'all feedback, every now and then. Like, what is something that you want to talk about? What is something, and I'm going to put a poll up after I get done with this. I'm sorry if I keep sneezing, but I'm getting over this cold. Okay, I rebuke this off of me in Jesus' name and cast it back to the pits of hell. This cold will be gone. Okay, you hear me? Because I got a party to go to next weekend. I got to support my sister. But I thank you guys so much because it means that I know that I'm doing what he want me to do. But I know that everything that I'm saying is meant to touch someone. I know especially last Friday, and I know the first one that I did with forgiveness touched a lot of people. I was getting so many inboxes and things. So I just appreciate you guys so much for taking the time out to be here with me on your Friday night, because it's Friday night. And I know we're young. We could be out doing so many other things, but we're having Bible study. You know what I'm saying? And I just love that. I love talking about God. I love talking about the word of God. I love talking about my testimonies. You guys can tell me your testimonies. This is a YouTube so where we can be honest. We can be, this is a safe space. I don't judge anyone. That's why I tell you guys everything. And if there's certain things you don't want to put in the chat, I've had people text me, and this was one, certain things that people text me that they don't want others to see. But be happy in your testimony, because that tells you that God, he's in your life. If you don't have a testimony, then what are you doing? If you're not being attacked, then what are you doing? Who you serving? And that was session 2. Who do you serve? I'm sorry, session 3. Who do you serve? Because if you're not going through anything, you're not serving God. You can't be. And y'all, I'm telling you, I go through something every other now and then. I just don't show it. But I'm happy. I'm grateful. I'm excited that he allows me to go through these things so I can tell you guys. Because certain things, and here's the thing, before I let you guys go, because it's 9, certain people are meant to go through certain things to help their neighbor. Ain't that something? That's something, right? Like, everybody's not going to endure exactly what you've been through. Sometimes your story is meant to tell other people, to warn, which is one of the 15 things we talked about, to warn your neighbors, to help them. And that's the thing. Like, I was told that my testimonies, because there's a lot of things that I just say little things here and there, but we could go deeper. Now we could get deep now. But there's a lot of things that I've been through that I remember it was one girl in college. Why? I remember it was one girl in college that she first met me. I was engaged at this time. I'm gonna tell you this story. I'm gonna let y'all go. She first met me. She saw I had a ring on my finger. She's like, "Oh, you married?" I said, "No, I'm engaged." And I've always been in relationships. I don't know. I just always happened to be that one that was always dating somebody. And when she first met me, she was just like, "Man, there's just something about you. Like there's something about you." And I mean, I never had a person come up to me and tell me. She said, "I want to be your friend." I said, "What type of stuff is this?" Like me, I'm just like, "This is weird." She was like, "Can I get your number?" And she was so giggly and it just, and I'm like, "Okay." Like, is she crazy? I didn't know, because she was just real giggly. So I said, "All right, cool." So I gave her my number, and as soon as I gave it to her, I'm going to my next class. She texted me and said, "Hey, you want to hang out?" And I was like, "Okay." So went ahead, hung out with her, had a great time. And I just remember like the things that she would say to me, I didn't see. So basically all I'm saying is, and I'm sorry, when I do this, okay. 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 So I'm going to basically all I was saying with that was just basically I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought because I was listening. I lost my train of thought, y'all. But it was something with the girl. And she was my ex-best friend. Her name was Anna. And she would just tell, she just met me. And she said there was something really, like, there was something on you. There was something different about you. And you're going to succeed in certain things. And I just really didn't believe it at that time. But basically, just love one another. It was just basically how she came towards me. I was like, nah, I don't know. You seem a little crazy. But we became the best of friends. Like, I wasn't giggly. She was. I wasn't as out there. She was. And we became friends. We was friends for like years until my other best friend came along and took her spot. But people stay in your life for seasons. Some people are not meant to be in your life, and that's okay. Like, you really got to get to the point of being fine with it. But I don't know where I forgot where I was going with that story because I was trying to listen. So forgive me, y'all. That happens a lot sometimes. But so we're going to end the night. 15 key instructions on how to treat one another. Love one another. Do not judge one another. Serve one another. Bear with one another. Be kind to one another. Have the same like mind. You don't have to have the same mind, but have the same like mind. I mean, understanding. Submit to one another, not meaning sexually or submitting the way you would submit to your husband or wife, but submit as far as the fear of God. Y'all both need to be on the same terms of understanding what not to do. Be obedient and not to chastise God or do things like that. Submit in fear. Forgive one another, comfort one another, encourage one another daily. Do not speak evil on one another, and do not complain about one another, and pray for one another. So those are the 15. If I missed one, I'm sorry. But definitely those are the ways how to treat one another. The 3 ways that Christians are to love: unconditionally, personally, and sacrificially. So unconditionally, to where you just gotta love your neighbor, whether they're wrong or right. Love them, pray for them. Personally, some people may never see Christ. Some people may never see Jesus. Some people may never know even what that is about. Like, who is God? What is that? But if Christ is within you, automatically they know about Jesus and Jesus is real. So personally, you got to get on a level with them for them to know that Christ lives within you. And then sacrificially, to where you have to show, you don't just tell people about God, but show them. So I can't sit here and say I'm a chosen woman, but I'm not doing anything for you to know that I'm chosen. Or not even, you don't even have to know. Just, I'm not doing anything for you to know that God is real and that by me being chosen, I can do this for you. So I'm sacrificing my everyday life. I'm sacrificing all this other stuff just to give you time, to help you and to show you. So I'm not just going to talk about God with you guys. That's why I give you guys my testimony, so you know, and I don't just make them up. This is real situations that happen to me. Now, like I said, some days we could get deep. We could get deep sometimes, but I just want to know, how far are you willing to get deep? The deeper we get, the more stronger we'll be able to connect with one another spiritually. And then let's see the 5 birthmarks of a believer. You're going to get tested on these 5 things: faith, life, love, growth, and sin. All of these things I've been tested on. I know that you guys have too. I know that you guys have too. And then Peter, we talk about faith. So we got to understanding what happened with Peter. The boat was moving crazy. Peter saw God walking on water, told God, look, okay, if you really God, come to me. God said, okay, cool. God commanded Peter to come to him. He came to him and he was walking on water, but Peter lost sight of the waves and how the wind was blowing and he began to sink, but then God caught him up. Excuse me. So by that, you got to have faith, stay focused. So we talked about how loving one another and staying focused and having faith. Okay. So that's it for today. That's it, you guys. All right. And I think next week I will do 7:00. I only did 8:00 because I had to go to the gym because I was sick, but that's it. And I just wish you guys a happy week. We'll be back here. I'm not saying tomorrow. We'll be back here Friday at 7. And then we'll talk more. Okay. I'm trying to figure out what I have in store. I think I know what I'm going to talk about, but I'm not just sure to yet. I got to make sure that it's perfect before I get into that. Okay. But I'm gonna let you guys go so I can go ahead and get to my duties. Okay. But you guys have a blessed night. I love you all. And I will see you guys next Friday. Love y'all.